Good evening, Mountaineer Nation. I'm Sam the Man, and this is the Mountianeer Effect. If you haven't already, click the like and subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Let's help keep this content going with the algorithms here on YouTube. I want to take a few minutes and talk about Neal Brown's post-game conference. He said a lot of the right things. Seemed like he recognized that there was a deficiency in the play calling in the second half. He said that he felt like if they had gotten to 30 points, they were going to be able to close out the game, which was a pretty good mentality, especially if you're looking at the over and under in the history of these two teams, the way that the scoring goes. But at the same time, that also shows you that his frame of mind is 30 points. I like to see them score 60. And the way they come out in the first half, settling for 30 points, doesn't really set well on my palate. But, he seems like he comprehended that the coaching didn't necessarily go the way it should have, and that he owned a lot of the mistakes that they made, which is good. He's a young coach. He's 41 years old. He's had some experience, but this is a different level of experience than what he had at Troy. So we just got to hope that he keeps growing week to week, year to year, until he's confident in his coaching abilities, and that he learns how to coach to win instead of coaching to not lose. Now, with that being said, the one thing that I did notice that was kind of omitted from the press conference that he didn't really talk about was the defensive deficiencies on 3rd and long. I think that's something that he probably should have talked about that he didn't, because that was pretty obvious. There was times where they were dropping 8 on 3rd down, and you just can't do that. It was killing all their momentum, and that was kind of a bummer that he didn't address that, because there was times where that really put Virginia Tech back in the game. All in all, his press conference was good. I was really happy to hear what he had to say. He addressed everything as you want your coach to. I think he doesn't harbor any delusions that they barely got out with the skin of their teeth. He did talk about this being a good learning lesson. It's a whole lot easier to teach a team when you win a game like this instead of losing a game like this. And so I agree with that. I think this will be a really good teaching moment for him moving forward. It'll be good for the players coming into the system, and it'll also be good for this team going in to Oklahoma next week. As I've said before, it's not a must-win game. It's a jump the shark game. If we could manage to pull that game out, it would be, that would be program defining. I picked Oklahoma at the beginning of the year to compete and win a national championship this year. They've looked anything but championship worthy, but if we saw anything this weekend from the Alabama-Florida game, Alabama is beatable. They're very beatable. Oklahoma has a tendency to get better as the season goes, to the point where they look like they did last year. They looked unbeatable. So I think as it progresses, that's probably what we're going to see out of Oklahoma. Tune in with me later in the week. I'm going to bring on special guest Cody P., Oklahoma connection. Big Sooner fan. He's going to come on. We're going to talk about the game, talk about keys of the game for West Virginia and for Oklahoma. We're both pragmatic type guys, so we don't harbor delusions about our team. So it should be a fun conversation with Cody. But I am Sam the Man. I am Sam the Man. And this is the Mountianeer Effect. Let's go Mountaineers.